Generally on Fridays, we check in with Michael Snyder. We do it toward the end of the show, but today we're going to talk to Spencer Christian from ABC7 at the end of the show, so we move Michael a bit earlier. Michael writes the Coastal Commuter column for the Marina Times. He is the culture blaster on Twitter and on YouTube. He comments on all things movies, television, and music. Michael Snyder, welcome.
Hey, hi. How are you, Mark? What's going on, my brother?
Well, I hope you have a lot of masks handy, because you're going to need a mask in California now. You want to be out in public.
I know. Hey, listen, let me just say, I kind of miss the murder hornets. How about you? Those were the good old days. I mean, we were warned they were coming, and then suddenly they disappeared from our collective conscious. I'll be honest, I'm surprised there isn't a swarm of them currently circling above Tulsa right now. I mean, really, where are the murder hornets when we need them?
And this is their new hoax.
Yeah, all right. What happened to those murder hornets?
I don't know.
Right. We just kind of looked the other way on them.
I'm disappointed.
I was just about to say to you, I watched something last night, and I did not warn you. I know our time is short. Okay, I'll just make this quick. I watched the beginning, the first hour of the Bikram Yoga Netflix documentary. You know, they kind of reveal. Oh, man, that guy is, wow. This guy who brought yoga to another level in this country, he's a creepy cat.
I would have watched it, but I was busy meditating.
Okay. What do you have for us?
All right, Five Bloods has been at Netflix for about a week. I didn't get to it before last week's segment. It's the latest film from Spike Lee, the great Spike Lee, and he's made some of my favorite films, including the terrific Inside Man with Denzel Washington, the recent Black Klansman, which I think is one of his best films, and going all the way back to stuff like Do the Right Thing, which just was explosive. And this movie, The Five Bloods, is about four African-American vets played by Delroy Lindo, Clark Peters, Norm Lewis, and Isaiah Whitlock Jr., who go back to Vietnam years after they served there and lost their leading light in their unit. They're played by Chadwick Boseman, by the way, and they are there to find his remains back where he was killed. And also, there is a possibility that there is something of great value, some treasure there that they can actually gather up and bring back. And I have to say, this movie is long, 156 minutes, but there are no wasted seconds. I mean, there are some blatant references and callbacks to a few of the, great Vietnam movie dramas, particularly Apocalypse Now. But this is its own thing and particularly relevant and potent right now. And it references the plight of all four of these guys, regardless of their current economic status. They reference Trump. I mean, in an odd conceit that works much better than I expected. The actors who play the veterans, as they are in their return to Nam, in search of the remains and such, also play the younger versions of themselves in flashbacks opposite Chadwick Boseman, who only has to play the younger character because, again, he loses his life, and that's no spoiler. That's the reason they're back in Vietnam, ostensibly. Supporting work by the likes of Jean Reno as kind of a black marketeer who's working out of Saigon. What was Saigon is now Ho Chi Minh City. Spike Lee, he's a terrific filmmaker. He's an idiosyncratic guy. You see some of his little ticks on display here, but I thought The Five Bloods is potent stuff and a really cool use of different types of cinema in order to get the flashbacks to be differentiated from the current footage. And I give it a big thumbs up. I give it 2 thumbs up.
Wow.
I have 2 thumbs. It's a
called
long movie.
Yeah, it's called Five Bloods. DA Five Bloods. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's on Netflix, so you can just pause it and go to the kitchen if need be. So moving on to something a little different, a lot different. 7500 is a pretty cool movie about what goes on in a crisis on an airliner that's going from Berlin to Paris. And again, it's a modern-day setting, and it's claustrophobic in a very clever and concise way. It's a perilous journey in a passenger jetliner, and that can recall a few similar mid-air Jeopardy movies, as well as some disturbing news stories of decades past. But it works. It's essentially told from the perspective of the co-pilot in the cockpit of this flight. And the result of this thing is very spare and effective, near constant tension for most of the movie, and it's helped immensely by the skills of Joseph Gordon-Levitt, JGL, and he's the co-pilot who's in a major jam when things start going terribly wrong, and I don't know, 50,000 feet, however high they are over the European continent, and 7,500. Again, it's tense. You're in tight quarters. Much of it seems to be, I guess, like CCTV footage from inside the plane. It's got that real upsetting. You're trapped, and how the hell are you going to get out vibe? And I really thought it was cleverly done and well done. Directed and written by Patrick Bolrath. Okay.
7,500. That's called 7,500. Okay, now without a spoiler, just tell me, do they make it or not? I'm kidding. All right, what's the spoiler? Okay. All right, listen. Quickly, the next one. Then I'm going to get the documentaries real quick. So go ahead.
Sure. You Should Have Left. It's a horror movie. I kept thinking as I watched it, yeah, I should have left. And what's killing me about this is that it's the work directed and written by David Koepp, who he did Jurassic Park, the first Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise, the first of the Spider-Man movies with Tobey. Whatever the hell is, I've already forgotten him.
Tobey Maguire,
yeah. Maguire. The crappiest Indiana Jones movie, Crystal Skull, the crummy Mummy reboot. I'm thinking he's going down, and now he's doing a very, very tight, low-budget horror film starring Kevin Bacon and Amanda Seyfried as a couple who are going on vacation. She's an actress. He's just a rich guy. And they have a young daughter, and they go on vacation while she's taking a break from filming to a town in Wales and a house that turns out to be, you guessed it, haunted. The scariest thing in the entire movie, which sort of makes a potentially chilling idea dull, is the credit at the end of the thing that says that it was shot entirely in New Jersey. That's right, New Jersey sat in for Wales. I mean,
wow.
That scared the hell out of me. Let me tell you, Kevin Bacon is a talented man.
Why do people always vacation at haunted houses? It just seems like a bad choice. I don't know. But Kevin Bacon did what?
Kevin Bacon, he's sizzling, man, sizzling in this one. I know he does his usual yeoman work in this, and Amanda Seyfried is good. It just lay there, kind of like a corpse.
All right, so let's regroup. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, and then, Michael, I want to talk about the documentaries with you. But just to regroup here, Da 5 Bloods, that's the Spike Lee film Michael really likes. 7,500, which is the you're trapped in a jet, and it's told by the co-pilot sort of cinematically. You like that. But You Should Have Left, you feel, is appropriately titled because you should leave on that one, not stay with it. We'll talk to Michael about documentaries as we continue. Mark Thompson, KGO 810. Station here on KGO 810. Mark Thompson here with Michael Snyder, who writes the Coastal Commuter column for the Marina Times. You can find the Marina Times at marinatimes.com, I think it's that simple. You can find Michael Snyder. He calls himself the Culture Blaster. He does music and movies and television. You can find him on Twitter at Culture Blaster, and you can also find him on YouTube, that same name. So, Michael, what were you saying? Let's get into some documentaries. We've talked about some dramatic films. Let's get into some documentaries real quick before the bottom of the hour.
Absolutely. Two radically different but interesting documentaries. One is Disclosure, subtitled Trans Lives on Screen. It's a new doc on Netflix, and it's basically a look at the history of transgender people and experiences, as they say, over the past 100 years of television, movies. If there's a little reference to live stuff, there are things about the Stonewall riots that were basically triggered by a transgender patron who was mistreated. It's got some interesting I guess we would say celebrities involved, including Laverne Cox and Jazz Bono and Jamie Clayton, who was so good in Sense8 on Netflix. Lily Wachowski, one of the Wachowski siblings, who made the Matrix film. It's pretty eye-opening stuff, and they can't cover every little corner of it. But if you're interested in the subject, and guess what? It's 2020, and if you don't know someone who is transgender or gender fluid, you probably don't live in a big city, number one. Number two, open your eyes, because people are very, very different across a wide spectrum of sexuality.
Yeah, that sounds very, very intriguing. I actually think I'll try to hit that this weekend. And what's your last one? We only have a couple seconds left.
It's a movie that is, again, radically different. It's called Return to Hardwick, and it's about the 93rd Bomb Group, who were highly regarded and they're very effective during World War II, and they were based in England in this small town. And there's a reunion of those who are still surviving, and there's some footage from back in the day, and they were instrumental in stopping Hitler and the Nazi war machine. And you meet some of their relatives, their progeny, and everyone talks about the experiences and what it was like to be in this war zone. Fantastic stuff for those who are interested. Again, Return to Hardwick.
And that's on Netflix?
Apple TV.
Apple TV, great. Return to Hardwick and Disclosure is the other one he mentioned. He also reviewed The Five Bloods, 7500, and You Should Have Left. Michael Snyder, thank you. Have a good weekend. We continue with Spencer Christian from ABC 7. We'll talk Juneteenth next on KGO.